Cat Ladies and Head Lice, Part 2. 2 weeks later, the fifth graders went on the air. Melvin straightened his crocheted vest, blue worsted wool, using half double stitch, cleared his throat, and looked into the camera. In 3, 2, whispered Calvin, and he raised his finger. 1. The camera's green on light blinked on. I'm Melvin Moody, and you are watching WUSS. Lenny and Bruce snickered. And here are your week's announcements. Melvin shuffled through a handful of index cards and read the first one. Mrs. Buns is offering a reward for information leading to the return of her megaphone. He read the second card. Mr. Halfnote is now holding tryouts for Aesop Elementary's harmonica, washboard, and armpit band. Anyone interested should meet in the school music room after school today. Harmonicas and washboards will be provided. Please bring your own armpits. He read the last card. Nurse Betadine would like to remind all first graders that burgers are not one of the 4 basic food groups. Please use a tissue. He laid the cards on the desk. And now over to Ham Sandwich for a look at this week's menu. Calvin angled the camera to the right. Bon appetit, lunch lovers, said Ham with a big smile. It's going to be a delicious week here at Aesop Elementary. Monday's entree is a delightful tofurkey surprise, followed by tasty meat nuggets, all forna. That means baked. On Tuesday, a traditional favorite, yak and cheese. On Wednesday and on Thursday, an inspired selection of various bratwurst and wieners. On Friday, Cook always gives us a real treat by serving her famous 3-bean sandwich accompanied by lime jello embedded with bologna slices. Good. The camera then moved to Jackie. In football last night, the Bears mauled the Rams, the Lions roared ahead to beat the Chiefs, the Vikings sacked the Cowboys, and the Ravens lost to the lowly Dolphins. After the game, the Ravens coach quit, saying, "Nevermore." The cameras then zoomed in on Stanford. In a more serious news, droned Stanford, scientists have discovered the genome that may unravel the mystery of why zebras have stripes and leopards have spots, and not the other way around. But can scientists unravel the secret of beautiful hair? Interrupted Victoria. I can. Here's a beauty tip for all of you wannabe me's out there. Beautiful hair begins with lemon juice and kitty litter, said Lenny. That explains why she's such a sourpuss, added Bruce. The boys grinned into the camera, and that's your joke of the day, they giggled together. Victoria's manicured hand could just be seen smacking the back of Lenny's head as the camera angled back to Melvin. He cleared his throat again. And now, a hard-hitting report from investigative reporter Bernadette Braggadocio. The camera panned again. Thank you, Melvin, whispered Melvin. Bernadette ignored him. Instead, she pulled out a pair of horn-rimmed glasses, perched them on the end of her nose, and looked deep into the camera. Students of Aesop Elementary, she said in a very serious voice, this reporter has uncovered evidence that Cook does not use real cheese in her yak and cheese recipe. Yes, the yak is real. But what is the yellow stuff that you've been eating? Bernadette paused for an effect, then declared, it is processed cheese food, a.k.a. fake cheese. And fake cheese just does not cut it. She paused again. This reporter, for one, is shocked. Aren't you? The red light at the top of the camera blinked on, and Ham hurried over to Bernadette. Is that true? He asked. Is it really fake cheese? Well, said Bernadette, I heard it from a kid whose brother knows another kid whose mom used to work at the school lunchroom. Isn't that called a rumor, said Ham. They're called sources, corrected Bernadette, but I wouldn't expect you to understand. For the rest of the week, Bernadette kept her eyes and ears open for more scoops and sources, but she didn't uncover anything hard-hitting until... Have any of you seen the crazy new art teacher yet? Missy asked during Friday free time. Crazy new art teacher, said Bernadette. She flipped open her black spiral notebook, the one she'd been carrying around ever since she had become an investigative reporter. Tell me more. Her name is Mrs. Bozzetto, and she moved in to that creepy old Victorian house over on Vesta Street, said Missy. At least that's what my neighbor told me. She carries around dozens of cat pictures in her purse, said Jackie. At least that's what I overheard a fourth grader say. And she purrs and mews to herself, said Ashley A. At least I bet she does. Her clothes are covered with cat hair, added Victoria with a shudder. I saw that for myself. Humphrey leaned into their conversation. Cat hair? That's because Miss Bozzetto has hundreds of cats living in her house. How do you know? Asked Victoria. I heard it from a first grader who heard it from his babysitter, who heard it from a boyfriend, who heard it from the baseball coach, who probably heard it from his wife, who heard it from the first grader, explained Humphrey. Oh, said the girls. They nodded their understanding. And Bernadette wrote furiously in her notebook, her pencil trying to keep pace with the hard-hitting investigative report that was forming in her mind. Within minutes, she had it all written down on paper. Students of Aesop Elementary, I have uncovered evidence that a crazy woman works in our school. Her name is Miss Bozzetto, and she is our new art teacher. What sent her over the edge? Was it a broken heart? A lifetime exposure to temper paints? We may never know. What we do know is that Miss Bozzetto has become a crazy cat lady living in her lonely Victorian mansion with a reported 500 cats. This explains her hairy clothes, her wallet full of kitty portraits, and her tendency to meow instead of say hello. This reporter, for one, is shocked. Aren't you? Bernadette put down her pencil and grinned. It was the best investigative report ever.